Hey guys, so I hope this is kind of quick because it's actually, I have another video that I want to do that this is kind of going to play into, but I want to do this one first because I need to do it separately. Otherwise, I'm just going to have a bunch of super long videos and I think I need to parse some of this stuff out. So the thing is that we are moving, and I mentioned this in the video on Beyond Censorship, that we're moving into an era where it's going to be about voice computing and digital assistants, and that is what Google's Eric Schmidt's been going around talking about. There are books coming out about that. There's an article in Wired I want to discuss with you guys. So we're going to be moving to a place where it's going to be about the one answer or the one shot answer that's going to be given. Because if you move to an era of voice computing where you ask a question, you're not normally given multiple answers or a list of choices. So the internet as we know it is going to start fundamentally changing, and probably sooner rather than later. And I want to show you this because Google and these other major tech corporations are now entering into the arena of becoming arbiters of truth, arbiters of what is going to be allowed to be talked about on their platforms and what isn't. And Google, more so than Facebook, more so than Amazon, more so than any of these other major tech corporations, that's a really important thing to discuss because Google is the number one website visited on a daily basis. It is the number one search engine where people are getting their results from. This came out back in August 2015, and it was a senior research psychologist named Dr. Robert Epstein of the American Institute for Behavioral Research and Technology. He was a former editor-in-chief of Psychology Today, and he came out and said how Google could rig the election because they have the ability to drive millions of votes to a candidate and no one would know, and it has to do with search engine bias. How Google's algorithm serves up the search results, because how Google ranks its search results determine what people are going to see first, which is pretty basic. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, and I don't use Google, but I went and did some searching today. I just wanted to see what's coming up on Google, and there's a lot of stuff that you can't find on Google like you used to be able to anymore. So there's obviously been a huge overhaul in the way that the algorithms are serving up information at Google. And I just want to show you guys some of this. Because Google right now, and this is the headline that I showed before, this is from October 2018, Google calls search engine bias a conspiracy theory. So if Google has decided it's going to be censoring conspiracy theories, but it can also make determinations that theories about itself are conspiracy theories that thus need to be silenced, then Google is now putting itself in a position of silencing opposition to Google. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? So I don't know if this video is going to stay up here. I don't know that. And if it's not, I'm just letting you know it will be on BitChute. So if this video disappears off of here or whatever, then that's the reason. Because, either way, the videos that we put on this platform get buried anyways now. So they don't get the full views that they used to get anymore. It's dramatically changed in recent weeks. It's pretty amazing that they've buried us the way that they have. So I figure this is the kind of things we should be talking about, and here's where we should be talking about that. So I guess we'll see. But I just want to show you guys this because I don't think people understand whenever you say something like search engine bias, what exactly does that mean? So I'm going to type in a series of 5 phrases into various search engines, and I want you guys to see what happens when I type these phrases in. What's supposed to happen is it guesses what I'm trying to look for, and it serves up some suggestions that happen to be the most popular things that were searched in regards to whatever the phrase or the term is that I'm putting in. So let's just try this. Let's start off with an easy one to show you what started all of this. And let's type in Hillary Clinton. So on DuckDuckGo, when you type in Hillary Clinton, the third thing that you get is indictment. The fourth thing that you get is email scandal. You also get concession speech. Okay? So that's what you get on DuckDuckGo. Now let's try it on Yahoo. Same thing pretty much. Indictment, email scandal, same thing. Concession speech. You also get illness. Didn't get that one before. Let's try Bing. Okay, the number 2 thing that shows up is her email controversy. So right there, you also get indictment and whatever that is, I guess. And okay, well, let's try Hillary Clinton on Google. Okay, right away you can see a huge difference here. There is absolutely nothing that comes up in these search results that suggests anything potentially negative or that could be viewed as in a negative light about Hillary Clinton. So you're not going to get that as an option. So let's try something else, though. Let's branch out from this. Let's try hate speech. Okay, so if I go to DuckDuckGo and I type in hate speech, I get First Amendment, laws, hate speech versus free speech, examples, meaning, legal definition. Let's try Yahoo. Pretty much the same thing. You also get cases and statistics. Let's try Bing. Okay, so pretty much the same. You also get synonyms. Now let's try Google. Okay, as you can see, there's a difference here right away because you get hate speech in the United States specifically. You get hate speech is free speech. That's not something you normally get. Hate speech is illegal, and hate speech on college campuses, which is not something I got in any other search. But you see how that's different. Hate speech is free speech. Now that's going to offer me up something totally different that I probably wasn't thinking about, but now I'm going to be like, what is hate speech, free speech? You see how it's putting an idea out there that was just not, that's not even offered anywhere else. Are people even searching for that? You have to ask. Let's try alt-right. Okay, so DuckDuckGo, I get movement, rally, websites, haircut. Is there an alt-right haircut? That's weird. Anyways, let's try Yahoo. Again, haircut. I'm going to have to look into what that haircut is. Rally, flag. There's an alt-right flag now? I can't keep up with these freaking groups. I'm telling you, it's silly. Alt-right. Steven Crowder. Age of Rage. Alt-right flag, alt-right adjacent. Adjacent? See, I don't know. But now check out what happens when I type alt-right into Google. Notice anything? Alt-right Age of Rage is the number 1 return. Then you get Netflix. Then you get Age of Rage Review, Age of Rage Wiki, Age of Rage Netflix. So the top 3 results right here are all basically really ultimately the same result. And it has to do with this documentary called Age of Rage. And what this documentary is about, here's what it says for IMDb when I go to DuckDuckGo. The alt-right movement is a worthy subject of a documentary as the rise of hate crimes and hate group activity thanks to a president that supports them tacitly or at least has worked with advisors that support them like Bannon. I've not seen this movie, so I can't make any statements about this movie, but what I am saying is the search results of Google are promoting this movie. Clearly they're promoting this movie when you type in alt-right, and basically what you're getting is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the results that come up as options for this search result are pushing you towards watching this movie. No, none of these other ones, I mean, Bing mentions it one time, right? So it's not giving extra over representation to this film. And DuckDuckGo doesn't mention it at all, and neither does Yahoo. Do you see the difference? But Google, this one is related to it. If you type alt-right Netflix, this is what's going to come up. Age of Rage is going to be the first thing. Age of Rage, and the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. So that's a search result for Age of Rage. The third one is obviously Age of Rage. I don't know about Podcast and Playbook, but then you have the Age of Rage Wiki, and you also have Age of Rage Netflix down here, as if we didn't already have that up top. So, and then dogs, I guess, is one of it. So this is a very, very biased. It's very biased. Let's try another one. Let's try anti-vax. So in DuckDuckGo, I get anti-vaxxers, anti-vaxxer definition, movement, meaning, memes, ideology. That's pretty basic. Let's try it here. Yahoo. Same thing. I also get ideology, another one for memes, and another one for movement. Anti-vax on Bing. I get anti-vaxxers, 1x, 2x's, movement, memes, definition. That's what you get, right? Check out what you get on Google. Okay, so right away we have anti-vaxxers on the Magic School Bus. Let's check that one out. So that is College Humor making a joke about the stupidity of anti-vaccine parents. And it says right here, measles are contagious. Unfortunately, intelligence isn't. And then you have College Humor parody tackles anti-vaxxers, College Humor anti-vaxxers on the Magic School Bus. And so it's all about making fun of parents who don't vaccinate their children. That's what that is. Also, if you'll notice, there was another search result here as well. Anti-vaxxers Plague Inc. Now, if you don't know what Plague Inc. is, this is a game where, as a player, you simulate a plague and murder large portions of humanity off the planet. And what they decided to apparently do is add anti-vaxxers to the game. So now you can play as anti-vaxxers to help players render humans extinct. That's first of all, that's what the game is. And secondly, now they've added anti-vaxxers as a way to kill off large portions of humanity. I wouldn't have known about this game. Well, I actually knew about it because I had some people tell me about it, but this game didn't come up in any other search engine results. It specifically came up as an option that Google is promoting and no other search engine is promoting. And if you type in anti-vaxxer all the way, you get On the Magic School Bus, Plague Inc., and Face Backlash. Okay? So basically what I'm ultimately saying to you is these search engine results on Google are extremely biased. And people use Google and they think that it's not. And they think that when they're searching for Google, they're actually being given facts. And it's not. What they're being given is tailored information. Here's one more example, okay? That you just have to see this, all right? I'm going to type in Israel BDS for the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. When I type it into DuckDuckGo, I get companies, suspension, movement, boycott, list, news, laws. Okay? When I type it into Yahoo, I basically get the same thing. When you type it into Bing, you get movement, law, ban, list, bill, blacklist, and objective. Okay? When I type it into Google, I get law, bill, legislation, list, vote, news, boycott, Senate, blacklist. Movement is not one of the options at all. It's not one of the options. And now look what happens when I actually hit enter to search for this term. The very first thing that comes up is an ad for the MaccabeeTaskForce.org, which says, what is the BDS movement? Myths and facts about BDS Israel. What is BDS? Who's behind it? How to combat it on my campus. Join the Maccabee Task Force mission. We're here to help you. Resources to fight BDS. So this is anti the BDS movement. That's very decidedly taking a position on the BDS movement here for Google. And then you get BDS movement, right? But the first thing you get is this taskforce.org before you even get to that. And when you type in BDS movement, you also get this ad trying to tell you the myths that are exposed and how to go to pro-Israel events and how you can combat the BDS movement on here. And then you get BDS movement down here. And the Wikipedia is like way down here. And it's very obviously biased to one side. If I go to DuckDuckGo and type in Israel BDS, right, I'm going to get the BDS movement. That's going to be the number one search result. that's going to come up. It's going to take me to that. It's not going to take me to an ad that's trying to tell me that it's a myth if I want to boycott a specific government. This is very tailored. It's very tailored toward a specific bias. It's obviously biased, but now Google can determine that that's a conspiracy theory and try to pretend like that bias doesn't exist. Do you see what I'm saying? And then we're talking about moving to an era of one-shot answers where they will be given the first top result. I wonder if that's going to be an ad. I think people don't understand that we're living in a time where they are tightening down the reins of information, and these major tech corporations are now positioning themselves as the arbiters of truth, or at least of facts, of what they've determined is a fact. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's what they are going to promote and push versus what they aren't, or what's going to get buried, or what's going to get blackholed, or what's going to get, what they're going to use algorithms to make it so you can't ever find, even if you try. This guy did a TED Talk on the moral bias behind your search results.
Inevitably, one student will raise his hand and say, with Google, I'm certain to always get the best unbiased search result. Certain to always get the best unbiased search result. As a man of the humanities, albeit a digital humanities man, that just makes my skin curl. So whenever you set out to Google something, start by asking yourself this: am I looking for an isolated fact? What is the capital of France? What are the building blocks of a water molecule? Great, Google away. There's not a group of scientists who are this close to proving that it's actually London and H3O. You don't see a big conspiracy among those things. We agree on a global scale what the answers are to these isolated facts. But if you complicate your question just a little bit and ask something like, why is there an Israeli-Palestine conflict? You're not exactly looking for a singular fact anymore. You're looking for knowledge, which is something way more complicated and delicate. And to get to knowledge, you have to bring 10 or 20 or 100 facts to the table and acknowledge them and say, yes, these are all true, but because of who I am, young or old, or black or white, or gay or straight, I will value them differently. And I will say, yes, this is true, but this is more important to me than that. And this is where it becomes interesting, because this is where we become human. This is where we start to argue, to form society, and to really get somewhere. We need to filter all our facts here, through friends and neighbors and parents and children and coworkers and newspapers and magazines, to finally be grounded in real knowledge, which is something that a search engine is a poor help to achieve.
And he ends it by saying that behind every algorithm is a set of personal beliefs that no code can ever completely eradicate. And that's the thing that people don't get. When you go to Google and you look for something in the search results, you are not getting a completely unbiased view of what the options are, or you're not even getting the view of what most people search for. It has been changed. Because when I can get basically the same thing on Yahoo and Bing and DuckDuckGo, but then when I go to Google, what I get is different things that are injecting a belief system in there, something else is happening. Because why is it that basically I get the same thing on every other search result, but then when I try it on Google, it's totally different? Do you see what I'm saying? So this is a serious issue that more people need to realize is happening, because people have this idea that this technology is just completely neutral, and it's really not. It's based on somebody's personal beliefs. It's based on the values and the personal beliefs of the organization of Google at the very least. And they definitely have a stance. The people that work for Google definitely lean politically to one particular side. And these are the people who are coding and setting up these algorithms, and they're obviously changing things, because when I can search for the term, one of these basic terms, and I can get a specific thing for all of these other search engines, and it comes up basically the same, for the most part the same, or at least balanced. But then the example of alt-right, I get a very obviously left-leaning documentary that's very, very obviously taking a stance against that group of people and claiming that they're the cause of hate crimes and whatever, that's pushing an ideology now. That is pushing an agenda. That's not just a neutral result. This is just going to be extremely dangerous for the future when you're talking about the control of not just information, but the control over what people are going to find when they do a search, what they're going to learn from that search, and ultimately what they're going to know from that search. So, unless they go to a search with their mind already completely made up about something, then there's wiggle room in what they're going to get and how that's going to influence them. And it's time for people to realize that search results influence people's opinions and beliefs about stuff. They've done lots and lots of studies. It has been well established. And they know that people are choosing whatever they get in the top 5 search results because it's all about efficiency and looking for things really fast. So they're not going to the next page and the next page and doing real research when they're doing a search for things. It's about speed and efficiency. So they're going to look at the top few results. They're definitely going to look at the top number 1 result first. So if the very first result you get is a completely biased result that tells you one thing about how everything is, that's going to be the first level of influence. Because that's the first thing that everyone who does a search is going to look at. It only makes sense. But the bottom line is these things aren't neutral. And behind every algorithm is...
Behind every algorithm is always a person with a set of personal beliefs that no code can ever completely eradicate. That wonderfully seductive idea of the unbiased clean search result is and is likely to remain a myth.